And there's more. I handled public relations for a charity at one stage who were getting the benefit of a film premiere. My job was just to promote the charity. There was a separate PR person who looked after the film. But in PR, you look for any angle you can use which will generate publicity. So one of the actors who was in the movie wasn't getting as much attention as everybody else, but he was very well known. He was an Irish actor, and he was between jobs. Perfect, I thought. I will use him, offer him for interviews to people, and see if he can just make the connection with the charity and the premiere and the funds. When I met him, he was delighted to do it. All agreed, we went to our first radio interview. And before we went in, because I like to be very clear, so before we walked into the studio, I said to him, remember, the only thing you have to do is name the charity and say that the proceeds of the premiere are going to them. Grand, he said, no problem. Being an actor, he went in, sat down, did the radio interview, was absolutely marvellous, no fault at all, and never mentioned the charity. And when we came out, we went to an ad break, the interview had finished, he came back outside again, I stuck my head in the door and said to the journalist who had interviewed him, fantastic, really appreciated the interview, thanks a million. That dirty looking Egypt never mentioned the charity that the proceeds were going to. I'll smack him senseless when I get outside. In fairness, the journalist knew exactly what I was saying, and he said, oh, no problem at all, I'll mention it as soon as we come back. So immediately after the ad break, he said, and you're welcome back, that was so-and-so, the film is, proceeds are going to. He was excellent. He came outside the door and I said to the actor, you never mentioned the charity. And he said, oh, darling, as actors do. Darling, you know, there was so much to talk about, there was so much going on, it's just the time flew, and I promise I'll mention it next time. And I said, no, actually, there won't be a next time. You're an actor, and what you do, darling, is you learn your lines. And the only lines I needed you to remember out of the entire interview was to say that the proceeds went to the charity. And you could have done that minute one, and I'd have been happy out. But since you didn't do it, I'm pulling all of the interviews, so darling, you'll be talking to yourself for quite some time to come. Sometimes it just doesn't pay to bite the hand that feeds you. Until next time. So, if you'd like to see some more videos, subscribe to the channel, okay? Don't forget you can see loads more videos here, and you can join us on Facebook, Twitter, or the website, ellengunning.com. Keep in touch.